Hello and welcome to Console Cowboys. So today we have an exciting thing. We have the newest stealth reader, and it has a lot of changes that really help you in the field and fix a lot of issues. So we're going to cover all the new things on it, but we also have the old generations, and we're going to compare the changes between like the first, second, and third generations and why they're significant, and then cover why this one is so good and why I'm really enjoying it. So it'll really help you decide whether it's something that you want to use or even upgrade. So first off, if we visually look at this, you'll notice that the new one right here is significantly thinner than the old one right here. And why does that matter? That matters because this is a real one, and you'll notice the real ones you put on the wall are a little thinner. Now you put some mounting hardware on this and it's about the same thickness. The reason that that matters is because you want it to look as close to the real one on the wall as possible so nobody questions anything. So that's the first thing. It'll help you not get detected because it's a little thinner now and a sleeker design, which is nice. The second thing that you'll notice is if you look at the back of these three generations, they're significantly different. So the very first one was a pretty good idea. They had like this sticky Velcro tape, and they would just stick this on the wall, and they would peel the tape off the back, and you'd get it affixed to the wall. But you had to be careful. You had to walk up, okay, is this lined up? Take a little time and be a little more precise with it. Then the second generation came out, and they had these magnets right here. The magnet here, and a magnet right here. And that allowed you to stick these onto, when they existed, door frames or window frames that are metal, which means that once you got it on there, it's not a fact. You don't have to get it perfect. You just slap it on there, kind of adjust it a little bit, and walk away, which saves time. Time in the field is a big deal. We'll talk about that in a minute. Now, the third generation, you'll notice that you don't really see anything here at all. I'd have to get the light just right. But there's an outline, and right here and right here, there's a magnet, but it's in the plastic, but it's nice and flush with this now. It's a lot sleeker, which is nice. Doesn't really add, performance value to it, but it's a little sleeker over the last one, so that's kind of really nice. Now, why does that matter? So it comes to a level of exposure in the field. When I'm out in the field and I walk up and I have to fiddle with this thing and get it just right, I'm on the camera longer, people are watching me longer, and there's more likelihood of me getting busted. Especially when I walk up and I pull this off the wall, and this is stuck in the wall, and now I'm peeling each of these off the wall so that it's clean when I'm done. That might take me 5, 6, 10 seconds to get off the wall versus this guy, I walk up, stick it on, I walk up, I pull it off, and I walk away, which is like 1 or 2 seconds. So when you're on camera and the security guy is talking with his buddy and you walk up, walk away, he's like, oh, did you see somebody? Versus, hey, what is that guy doing? So a significant difference there and a lot less exposure using these magnets on top of the obvious that you can affix it to a wall easier. I'm thinking from a field standpoint of not getting busted, definitely an upgrade. The next thing you're going to notice is that these old ones just had a screw right here, basically. That's all it was. And that screw, you'd unscrew this and you pop in a battery, and the battery would charge it. The new ones have some other stuff here. So if I can get the lighting right, you'll notice that I have, let's see if I can angle this right. There we go. So I now have a USB-C that I can charge it with. And I also have a switch. I can turn it on and off. And then I have 2 little slots right there. 2 little slots. You can see it turn green when it is fully charged, and it's kind of orange when it's not fully charged. So this makes a significant difference because I no longer have to take this apart anymore. Once I plug it in and charge it, it's done. I don't have to unscrew a screw back in. And the reason that's good is, what if you forget to bring a screwdriver? What if when you take the screw out, it falls between the seat and now you're looking for that thing and you can't find it? So there's a lot of issues that happen when you're nervous, you're in the field, you're in your car, you're playing around, and you don't realize things are happening. So not having to have that screwdriver and not having the ability to lose that screw because all you have to do is plug it in, charge it, flip a switch to turn it on, flip a switch to turn it off. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it's significant in the field. And the next thing is why it's significant inside of it, and this is what would be the obvious, is that you have a battery pack now. So you're charging a battery pack versus in this old one, you had a battery you had to put in here, which means you had to buy a battery. Now these Tenergy batteries would last like twice as long as a regular battery or more, but these are expensive and I had to order them on Amazon. So if a gig popped up on Thursday for Monday morning, I don't have time to order any more of these if I didn't have it. So now I'm using regular 9 volts, which might last 30 minutes, an hour without losing battery, whereas these guys would last maybe 2 hours without losing a battery. However, this right here, this battery pack, I did some testing on this thing. So I fully charged it. And then once I fully charged it up, I turned green on the back and I turned it on with the Wi-Fi on, which wastes more battery. So this guy, these old ones would last maybe 2.5 hours or so of getting low frequency reads with stealth on, which means there was no Wi-Fi. This one with the Wi-Fi on, wasting more battery, lasted almost 4 hours, about 3 hours and 45 minutes for me. So that's significant because exposure again, right? If I walk up and I turn the Wi-Fi off with this stealth card right here, I have to then walk up and flash the card again in order to turn it back on to get my reads, which exposes me to the cameras, exposes me to security and other people watching what I'm doing. This one, I keep it on and I could be around the corner of the building or across the street, connect to the Wi-Fi, get my badge reads, create a badge and walk up and test it before I ever have to mess with this thing or take it off the wall again. And I got like, 3.5 hours, 4 hours to do that. So what I would say is bank yourself about 3 hours just to be sure, because this thing will beep and show lights when it's running out. So you want to take it off the wall before that. With that said though, generally you only need about a 2-hour window. So 3 hours, 4 hours is way more than you need because most traffic comes through in the morning or comes through at lunch. And those are the significant traffic times. So you only have to get 8 a.m. through 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. or 11 to 1, like lunch hour and morning hour. And then you could take this thing and plug this into your car while you're doing surveillance and recharge it, which also goes to if you forgot a battery or you forgot to charge it, you could charge it in your hotel room the night before, or you could charge it in the car, or even charge it on, well, I don't know if you want to bring it onto the airplane with you because TSA, but you could charge this thing anywhere is my point. In between using it. So if you use it in the morning and you pull it off and then you're eating lunch, you could be charging this thing up while you're eating lunch or doing surveillance, then pop it back onto a different doorway or a different, maybe there's a patio area where they're eating lunch and they're going to come in from there. You can just walk up and fix it on there and get the lunch crowd. So it's really awesome that it now has the battery. And as far as recharging it, I tested that as well. It took about 2 hours from completely dead to completely full, and then I have another 4 hours of usage. So 2 hours is not too bad. It's actually pretty short. That was plugging it into my laptop with a regular USB-C cable. Nothing fancy going on there. It's just regular charge time it would be. Now, that's all of the changes with the physical hardware and why it's good. So the main points here is that this exposes you a lot less in the field because you can leave the Wi-Fi on longer. It looks more sleek like a regular reader. You don't have to lose things or anything like that. You can get it on and off the wall quicker. And the Wi-Fi supposedly is a bit more stable as well, because I did run into some issues with Wi-Fi before dropping in and out. Supposedly it's a bit more stable now, so that helps as well. Now, let's pop this guy on, and then we'll take a look at the Doppelganger webpage here, and I'll show you some of the functionality on here and how this works. So give me 1 second here. All right, so I turned this guy on, and I connected to the access point, so we can view the page for the access point now when we're connecting in the field and we're grabbing our badges. I'll go through this very, very quickly because you guys should be familiar with it. So we got our bit length, we have our facility code, and our card number of a card that was swiped. And that's really all we need to do in order to configure a card. Now in the configuration, not a lot has changed, I don't think, but we do have nice things like I don't think you could get themes before. So you could switch this to Dracula mode or classic or something like that, depending on your preferences. You can also update your stealth card settings from the defaults to something else. So when you're turning on the access point on and off with this card, you can change it to something that's not default. Something you should do is you should change your wireless SSID in your passphrase, because that protects the client data of the badges that are swiped coming off of the access point on the reader. So that's something you should definitely do. And then also you can do some serial debugging here. So everything's pretty clean, works pretty well. Next thing, you can reload once new card reads are coming in. It'll re-upload this page, kind of just like hitting refresh up here. And then you can download all the data in CSV. And then you can reset stuff here. So after you're done with your engagement, you should probably reset that, get rid of all of the card reads, so that way you don't have client data on your devices. And then you can reset stuff for the people after you if you're sharing this device, like the stealth cards, the wireless network, or a full device reset if you're sharing this device with other people on your team. So that's important. So now that we hit that reset on the card data, it's gone. If I swipe another card and we do a reload, you're just going to see this populate in here. So pretty clean and easy to use interface. Didn't want to belabor that point too much, just kind of show you how it works very simply. Now, a couple other things to note is I believe they said that they're going to be releasing different faceplates for this. So I have a standard multi-reader faceplate, but they're going to have Signo reader plates and maybe the thin ones as well. So something to look out for depending on the target environment. If you're trying to maybe put a Signo one because you're saying you're upgrading it to make it look like it's more upgrading, or whatever your social engineering sign is saying to make it more congruent with that, you might have other options there. They had just sent me the inside part, and I used my old faceplate on the outside part, and then I've just been doing some testing with this. So a lot of great changes, like I said, that help you in the field. And the reason I like these is because if you have, say, a shared facility with one door and a secretary sitting on the other side of the door, and you don't want to burn yourself right away with social engineering, you could toss one of these on the door. They're not even going to see what you're doing. You can get a badge read and walk in as an employee, smile, and wave to the secretary. And you can sometimes do that by like 8:35 a.m., and bam, you're on to the second phase of your physical pen test. Then later on, you can come back and try to do some social engineering and other things that are going to potentially get you burned quicker, just to see how far you can push it. But this guy will get you in quick, and it doesn't always work, but it usually is a really good option. I did have a test recently that I couldn't use this for a bunch of different reasons, just situationally the way things were set up, and I had to use like a ESP key and get the data from go into the controller, the WiGAN data coming from here to the controller. And that was a better option for me in that situation due to guards and gates and fences and security cameras and all this stuff. But in general, this guy will work in most of the situations that you run into on a regular pen test. That's not like super high security where I have to sneak in the dead of night, with my hooded sweatshirt on and start rewiring stuff. Hopefully all of that in the field stuff was useful for you. If you got any questions, just hit me up in the comments and I will catch you later.